Hi there, welcome to SHIB, Wyckoff Technical Analysis session. So SHIB is not something that I have covered before, so you're seeing a blank chart over here with just a white box around the price chart. So as usual, when I first covered a new coin, I'll borrow the Wyckoff text as well as the key levels lines into this chart and see where the price is going to head to. So please be patient with me while I draw the chart live right in front of you. So let's dive in. This is the white box that I talked about, and this is the weekly time frame. The white box is basically something I call long-term playground zone. An area or a trading range, depending on which terminology you are more familiar with, that the price of an asset is being traded within for a prolonged period. And in this case for SHIB, it has started since September 2021 all the way into where we are now. The price 80 to 90% of the time has been traded within this zone. Sometimes people would draw a center line. It doesn't have to be exactly cutting the box into half. This line is an indication of some of the trading activity. It's more like resistance or support line in that case. But for now, let's keep it simple. I don't want to confuse you too much. And let's start bringing in the key levels as well as the Wyckoff text. Let's borrow them from Bitcoin. So here, you see these lines. I'm trying to see whether it's better from Bitcoin or Ethereum. Ethereum looks nicer. This rainbow key levels. So I'll borrow from Ethereum these key levels as well as the text. Buying climax, preliminary supply, automatic reaction, second test, sign of weakness, upthrust, last point of supply, as well as the accumulation cycle. Preliminary supports. Selling climax, automatic rally, sign of strength, backup. Okay, that's all we need. Going back to SHIB. Let's enlarge it a little. Paste these tags in. Ta-da! Some of them are locked, so I have to do this before I can move them. Still not moving. Okay, let's do it this way, because it doesn't seem like it liked that I grouped the tags and the lines together. Now we can move. So let's zoom out and adjust based on the red line. That should be a key level around here. Yeah, it doesn't have to be very exact because a key level is not just one price point, it's a range. Although it's a narrow range, it's still something that you should keep in mind. When it says 1950, it doesn't necessarily mean the price will bounce exactly at that point. It's somewhere around there, plus or minus 1 or 2%. So obviously this is not the price for SHIB, but let's adjust the lines first. That should be where the other level is by observing all the candlesticks across the timeline. So yeah, about there, and what I'm gonna do is to extend this line. Let's see whether or where 50 is going to lead it to. Yeah, that looks alright, but I wanted to go further left because there's something over there I don't want to miss. This two overlapping candles, not overlapping exactly, I mean the bottom and the top kind of stop at where this line is. So that's the second key level, orange. And then the third one, yellow. Where should it go? It seems it has landed somewhere at the right spot already, and the length seems okay to me, so let's keep it over there. And then green. Where should green go? The key level. we see these wicks over here, right? And then these bottom of the candles plus these tops got rejected over here as well. So this should be the right level. And eventually, light blue, blue, and purple. Okay, there's an automatic rally over here, but that's only 1 point, at most 2, so I won't consider that a key level. I usually pick something that at least I found 4. So we've got one over here, second over here with a wick of the automatic rally touched, and then a bunch over here plus these over there. So I just need to extend this. So 36 is not long enough, let's say 10. Okay, now it cut across these so it's clearer for you to see. Here, 3540. Forget about the number for the time being, I'll update those. The key is, again, look at where it's cutting across these candlesticks. So once again, extend this to, let's say, 20. Yeah, it's cutting across that bunch of candles that I wanted to. It doesn't have to go all the way here because it was a crazy period in the very beginning for SHIB back in 2021 fourth quarter. Here, finally the purple. It seems like we are running out of key levels because SHIB has a lot of movement, but that's okay. I would say is probably here. It's getting to a range where it's where the buying climax and upthrust was. So we still have like 3 or 4 references, but it doesn't look like as clearly as the previous levels. But these should work here. So you see these candles and wicks over there. These as well, the bottom of the body and the top of the candle plus these wicks over here. So that should be fine. Now is the price point. There are a lot of zeros for SHIBs, but that's fine. That's 4 zeros and 278. Let's change it. 4 zeros and 278. Okay. Next one. 2403. Again, 4 zeros. 2403. A lot of zeros, yeah. 2138. 1234, 2138. Yep, that's. Did I put in? Because let's use just 3 digits after the zeros. Otherwise, it becomes too long. That's 176. So 4 zeros, 176. And then what's this? 154. And then 129. Yep, a little bit of patience is needed. Sorry about that, because every time I come to chart a new coin, I want to do it in front of you instead of pre-edited. 0.1234, 113, so you can see how exactly I do it. Okay, that's it for the key levels. Now comes to the Wyckoff tags. So, as usual, let's start with buying climax. That's clear list 1, and then copy another one over here. PSY, one over here. The other comes here. Automatic reaction. That's the one here. And a very deep one this cycle, back in December 2024. Now, second test. Here, there's one second test. Very low second test over here, and it's not even the second test. That's. I don't want to move the lines. That's an LPSY over here. No upthrust at the time being, and sign of weakness. Absolutely, there is one over here. This go all the way down. I don't even consider there's a sign of weakness. Somebody can put one here, but that's going to make the chart too busy for you to see, so I'll skip it. One more LPSY over here. If I turn it to a line chart, you see there are 2 peaks. That's why 2 LPSYs. So, back to the candlestick. Now is accumulation cycle. Preliminary supports, around here, selling climax 28, that's what I want it to be. Automatic rally, right size already. We've got a second test over here, or you can just call it test basically. A pretty long period of test, and sign of strength right there. Move this closer, and a backup slash last point of support, period. Okay, that's looked great. Let's move towards where we are now. So, preliminary support happened back here in January, and then selling climax appeared in early March. Second test, mid-April. Then a sign of strength in May, and a further test back in late June, end of June. And finally, another sign of strength happened just in end of July. And now we're in this period. It's kind of like repeating itself, alright? But there are more white candlesticks this time, and it's showing us kind of like a flat bottom over here. So it is a better sign than what happened back in June. So assuming this is going to continue, hopefully it's going to find, so this flat platform, it's a little bit difficult to pronounce, this flat platform is where potentially the price starting to get started to go up. So let me move this back to where it should be, and then I lock these key levels so I don't accidentally move them. Okay, that's all done very quickly. Thank you for the patience. I see quite a number of you are looking at this, watching me putting these all together. So let's explain this. Here we're seeing this horizontal trading happening since March or even February. It's been trading between two key levels, the red 113, yellow 154, and it's kind of very seldom that it went beyond that. So here, if you look at Wyckoff textbook definition, it probably call it a spring. That's a price that's lower than the selling climax during the accumulation cycle. That can happen before the price goes to a new distribution cycle. So while we understand the price is at a middle or late stage of accumulation, about to head to a new distribution cycle, it doesn't tell us when, right? So one indication I like to see is this Bollinger Band Keltner squeeze. These orange lines, when the purple gets into them, these staircase lines gets into the orange, that means a squeeze is happening. And when a squeeze happens, that means it's getting closer to a bigger price move. There are examples for SHIB. So let's go back far back into the timeline. Well, I don't want to mention the drop from 2021 distribution cycle. We all understood it. Here there was a squeeze where the purple got into the orange, and the price went further down after the distribution cycle. And eventually we got into a stage between September 2022 or even earlier, August 2022. It has been accumulating all the way to 2024 February. So while the purple went outside of the orange for a while, it doesn't really go that crazy like the other periods, right? So that's when this 2.5 year long accumulation finally ends and we enter February 2024. It finally got released. These forces that gathered over 2.5 years got released, and we've got this crazy pump all the way into March, early March 2024. Eventually, it finishes its distribution and came back down and started another round over here and getting into where we are now. So the new squeeze has happened while we had two distribution cycles and two accumulation cycles in between. So this new squeeze will potentially be the driving force for SHIB to go wild. So one key thing here, let me switch off this to make it easier to read, is I shared in a couple of other altcoins. For SHIB, the fortunate thing is, what I see is it has similar, like buying climax of similar height. In some other altcoins, probably you have seen me talk about this in other sections, they are one lower than another for those buying climaxes. That's not a healthy long-term sign for an altcoin. That's meaning a declining support or fan base, if I am allowed to say that. So SHIB, it seems to be still healthy. So if the distribution cycle eventually happens, so let me drag this PSY as well, somehow it disappeared. So the ideal case is for it to come to challenge the top edge of the white box. That's a level at around 303. And best it go past it and get to somewhere at the same level of the previous two prime climaxes. That's around 328 or 330 basically. So that's what long-term supporter of SHIB would hope to see. That means still it's worth it to trade. Basically, long-term trade potential is still there. If it doesn't, if it ends up somewhere at the purple key level 278 or even lower 240, we have to readjust and rethink whether SHIB is going to be still behaving as it can during 2024. So it's too early to decide now. When it happens, we'll come back to take a look, and hopefully SHIB will be still in my roster. So go to my community post and check how I determine my roster. It's based on how many people engage in that video, as well as whether it climbs to the trending coins in coin market cap as well as CoinGecko. So either case, if there are, so on one, more engagement, more likely it gets into my regular roster. The other is like if it gets into any of the trending of CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, I'll cover those as well. So I only have 20 slots in a week. That's how much time I can give to the sharing of these charts. Let's get to the daily. It's time to look at the micro when we already know what's happening in the weekly. A squeeze is happening and we're at the mid-late stage of accumulation. The potential of getting to a new distribution cycle is pretty high. Let's see what's happening in the daily. And again, let's borrow some text from, let's say, Dogecoin. We've got let's start with accumulation this time. Preliminary, no, this is not PSY, this should be PS, preliminary support. PS, selling climax, automatic rally, spring, sign of strength, backup last point of support, buying climax, automatic reaction, second test, LPSY, no, I don't need this, I just need a second test. And have I missed anything? No upthrust yet, but it's fine, we can use the second test and just update one character to get it done. Okay, this is SHIB we have gone back to. Yeah, a little bit of worrying sign of seeing these high volume bars over here, this tall volume bars. Quite a bit of selling over there. It can be a shakeout. So at this level, the bigger fish or whales will scare away the smaller fishes and like swap up, like basically grab whatever that's over there in the market in order for them to be able to push the price to the upside. Because it has been stabilized, so I'm not too worried about this at the moment. But then, while it's trading kind of horizontally, let's put in the text before I talk about the trend lines and the candlestick patterns, because we are Wyckoff focused. So that's backup last point of supply, support. It's a bit busy in the daily chart, so I'm trying to see where the best to put them so it's still easier for you to see. So automatic reaction, LPSY, no second test over here. So second test, please go away for the time being. Why the yellow line is still being moved? Okay, never mind. Let's just move them up here for the time being. And no spring for the moment, selling climax. Let's go right there, and then other one right here. Plus preliminary supports. Okay, that should be where the selling climax is actually. And the automatic rally. This one, that's where the spring would go. And there's basically no sign of strength, I would say. And eventually, let's move this across over here. Where's the PSY? There's no PSY. Let's use this then. PSY. Not the Gangnam Style or the guy that sang a part 2 with Rosé, is preliminary supply over here. Okay, selling climax, sign of strength. This time we have one, actually two, but let's treat it a little bit simpler. Automatic rally, and then this time we have second test, and basically more tests. Now we're in this horizontal zone. So I'm not going to tag everything, because you know what goes to where already. Yeah, that's basically pretty much look like what it should. So I've done 2 cycles, and if you look at some Wyckoff education website, you would know what are those. Sign of weakness over there, just to introduce a bit. So here, again, daily, similar sense, at the middle late stage of an accumulation. Let's bring out the Bollinger Band Code squeeze again. Since, I would say, August 13th, mid-August, we have entered a squeeze zone, and the price is being traded narrower and narrower. Also is at the lower half of this Bollinger Band Code squeeze channels. So a lot of times when the squeeze happens and the price is somewhere at the bottom, it usually goes to the upside. Not 100% of times, but usually. Another example we can find is here. When the squeeze happens, it's at the lower half, below the center line, and then it's got squeezed to the upside. Right now, we are also at the lower half of the channels. So the likelihood of it swinging to the upside when the squeeze force is finally released is higher than towards the downside. So hopefully that's the case. And you can see these platform periods basically kind of like horizontal. We are having another platform period right now. So hopefully it doesn't break any rule and become an outlier scenario where it shoot to the downside. We didn't have a spring, that's the thing. So I won't say it's 0% to come down when the spring happens, but the likelihood of it going to the upside is higher. And to add to that, we've seen the platform stage, Wyckoff pattern, Bollinger Band corner squeeze. Let's draw some lines around these candles and see what it's telling us. I want this so you can differentiate between this and those key levels. So one resistance line over here, that's basically bouncing off all the rebound along or across August. August 14th, August 24th, August 30th. Every bounce stopped below this resistance line. And then we have another line. So let's drag it over, just adjust it, and bring it to this point. So you see where they are touching, right? Basically, is the tips of these wicks. Now we have kind of a descending wedge. Yeah, you see it's pointing down, right? So according to candlestick pattern analysis, a descending wedge is somewhat a bullish sign, because when it eventually breaks out, it's likely going to head to the upside. So with this wedge, it's showing us a time frame, a date. September 15th is the tip of the wedge. So when a breakout happens, it, like, I would say 70–80% of the time, it doesn't wait till the very tip for the breakout to happen. It happened way before the tip. So from now till then, we have only 1 week time basically. And the breakout is going to happen in the next few days. So remember what I said? The squeeze is already there. The force has been gathered. The time, we've got an indication. So finger crossed for SHIB supporters. It's not too far now that SHIB is about to make a big move. So in the weekly time frame, it's the same basically. The coming week, for this week's candle, we only have 1 day and 5 hours left, 29 hours. And next week is probably the time SHIB is going to make a big move. Finger crossed, it's to the upside. Don't forget your stop loss, that's very key. Never ever, even if you are 100% sure, don't leave your order open without a stop loss. So if you are the one from the community requested for this SHIB video, hope you are satisfied, and hopefully SHIB gets a lot of engagement, likes or comments, and maybe going to the trending coin as well on CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, and I can come back to this sooner. So trade safe,